I'm KARIN KALINTA. I'm 21 years old. I study at Thammasat University, second year. I'm learning about urban design and architecture. I'm showing mostly illustration manga style art, where I kind of focus more on paintings and kind of cyborgs and stuff, like mechanical stuff. I always like story about humanity, kind of like personal stories of how a person view society as a whole. I've always had like deep thoughts about, society and how like humanity operates. I just kind of want to express in terms of my own perspective that, my perspective on how I view life as a whole. Like, even though I'm quite young, I still think like I still should have a voice in terms of, society as a whole. Well, my inspiration for the most part is manga. A lot of manga, anime, Japanese stuff. I think you can see that it's very like heavily influenced by that. But yeah, growing up, I always like read manga. I always like enjoyed drawing. So, and for the most part, I kind of studied or learned from YouTube on how to draw manga characters and stuff like that. My biggest inspiration of all would be Death Note writer. I forgot their name now, but yeah. And for my current style of illustration, my biggest inspiration would be Yone Yamamai. She's a Japanese illustrator. I learned a lot from her through her YouTube videos. I think so, yeah. Definitely one of my interests for sure. But I just have to see first if the manga part I should keep as a hobby or should I go into professionally. Because I feel as an artist, I don't think I'm very qualified to make such stories because first of all, it's very difficult, very time consuming. I should start with doing it in my own time, make sure that I'm very comfortable with the medium. Learning architecture, it's very difficult, it's very time consuming, and there's a lot of group projects and stuff like that. The first thing that I learned throughout my first year, I'm in second year now, my first year I came to the conclusion that, design, stuff like that, design, architecture, it's mostly for other people. It's for other people's needs and less about art, but more about service. And that's what I learned throughout my first year of architecture. And I think that is a very valid point because in the end of the day, if you're making a work for a client, you still have to think about the client's perspective and how they're going to use the space, right? But illustration, art in general, like fine arts, for example, it's very personal. It's a form of expression. And I think that that's a fundamental difference between design and art, where design is people-based and art is personal thing. Yeah, I used to skate when I was younger. I didn't get very far, but I do really like the culture. Skate culture is like definitely like, I grew up with skate culture. I wouldn't say that I'm good. I just really like just skating around. But I quit skating a few years ago. I didn't get very far. Only thing I know how to do is ollie, but that's about it. I just really like the boards and stuff, and kind of like their lifestyle of like going with the flow. And just don't take things too seriously. If you try and try again, you'll get it. Some tricks in skateboarding, you have to practice a lot. You have to do it often, repetition. It just speaks to me in that way. Yeah. Well, actually, like I started from graffiti before I started digital art. Like graffiti, skateboarding definitely like goes hand in hand, right? Graffiti as a medium, like I loved it. It's very adventurous. When I was younger, I used to go out with my friends to like abandoned buildings and kind of like ask for permission if I could spray paint there, because like we want to make sure that this is not a private space and we're not like trespassing on anyone's land. But yeah, most of the spots are like kind of public and well known among graffiti artists. But that's when I was like really young, right? Graffiti definitely like kind of helped me to open up my world and kind of step out into like different types of world, because I'm very introverted. I don't really like to go out, but having a friend that kind of just invites me out to go paint and go graffiti just opens up my world into like different possibilities of art. sometimes when I feel like it. It just saves me a lot of time when I sketch on the tablet, on the computer. But when I do sketch on paper, I don't want to do with pencil. I like to do with pen, just because like I don't have to care about the mistakes and erasing. I just want to like go on my sketchbook and just like be super confident about my lines. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. Just have to, go with the flow. Definitely looking into NFTs. Definitely want to get in on that for sure. With me like being more of an expert in digital art now, I think that it would be the right path, and also like creating projects for other artists as well, such as musicians and stuff, right? Like before I started my whole art career, I had a DJ friend. Like he makes his own song, EDM, and he just inspired me because like he was so much younger than me, but he was like really following his passion, and that just kind of like reminds me of myself, of like how I used to be when I was younger. Like I only reignited my passion for art in first year of university. I thought I lost it, but like meeting this guy, like as a friend and as like a colleague, like he really helped, spark my passion again. Just on Instagram, yeah, on Instagram, on Twitter. I mostly post on Instagram at Kalinta77.